They went inside, and he was punched in the face with the odor of ammonia and something sickeningly sweet, like sweet cheap perfume. Someone had sprayed some shit trying to cover an odor, and the ammonia, mixed with whatever it was, made the stench vomit-inducing. 2 lights swung overhead in the dank hallway when Bomb pushed another door open. This looked like a makeshift blockade, perhaps some sort of warning. Bomb had to rest his shoulder in the damn thing to get it to budge further. They got past and went up a narrow flight of stairs that turned and twisted and gave the feel that one wrong move and they'd fall to their deaths. Their feet pounded and echoed with each step, the stairs like old, tired sheet metal. The damn things were actually made out of iron rod, and just like many of the old buildings around town, this place held tiny reminders that it used to look like something. The stairwell boasted of intricate, woven swirl designs under rusted, thick-coated layers of dull paint. White, chipping fragments covered the walls along with copious graffiti with the typical "Pooh loved Amber" bullshit. There were the gang tags as well, and no one dared to remove the shit. Bomb rapped on a door, then looked sheepishly over his collapsed shoulder at Saint. Saint looked down at him, no doubt appearing as an old schoolmarm with a ruler in hand. The man seemed to be shrinking right before his eyes. The roles had been reversed. Now Saint was towering over the man, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally as well. It had to make Bomb feel some kind of way, but he refused to put much focus on it. It was there, they knew it, and they moved forward without so much as a word. The door to the apartment opened slowly, showcasing a place that didn't match the exterior. A guy holding a crumpled paper bag skidded away into the recesses of a back room like some rat caught by the early morning sun. Tacky, leopard print rugs and decor were all over the place. Someone threw up yellow and black and walked the fuck away, waving their wand and paintbrush as if they'd done a good job. To complete the ensemble, a real leopard rug, pimped circa 1978, lay sprawled across the floor, as if the owner were a hunter and all of his trappings demanded a dwelling in East Harlem, the biggest jungle of all. A framed painting of Jesus hung on the wall, above a table holding red, partially melted candles reminiscent of dildos, and the television was on a low murmur. A rerun of House played on the screen. "Who the fuck is that with you?" an obese Puerto Rican man asked in Spanish as he pointed to Saint. His high and squeaky voice didn't match his body, and if you'd only heard the bastard on the phone, you'd think he was a Mickey Mouse impersonator. The rotund man sat on the couch, his legs sprawled far apart because he had no choice. A red t-shirt stretched to his limit covered his swollen body, and his tits were larger than Xenia's. His neck was swallowed by fleshy rolls, and his light-skinned legs featured knees that were dark and swollen. Regardless of this, the man's hair was faded to perfection, and his goatee looked as if it had been done with the stellar precision of a scalpel. That was a strange thing about some of the people Saint grew up with. They may not have had a pot to piss in, but many of them would not be caught dead with messed up hair or their clothes in disarray. They just wouldn't stand for it. "This is my little bro Saint," Bomb answered in Spanish. "He's in town to see his father, so he's just hanging with me today. He's cool." Bomb shifted his sparse weight, sniffed and plopped down on a nearby chair. The big man sighed and stood, causing the couch he was on to creak and moan. The cushion he'd sat on was indented, and Saint was sure it would never regain its original form. He hadn't seen cats that big often, and it was something to see. Regardless of his weight, the man moved around and about until he got behind a bar-type partition. "What you need, Bomb?" he asked to the sound of plastic bags being rolled between his fingers. "I need 2 of them," Bomb mumbled. Bomb would typically be more lively than this, and he surely didn't want Saint standing there watching him do himself in. It appeared all of a sudden, Bomb had a sense of shame. But what could he do? He was desperate, and since he needed the money, he couldn't boss his little brother around now, could he? "How much is it per gram? Like 60? Saint asked as he pulled out his wallet. Leave it to Bomb to want primo shit. He was like Whitney Houston, felt he was too good to do crack, though he'd do it occasionally if he didn't have the funds for cocaine. "Yeah, it's 50 for my man here." This guy answered, not looking up as he prepared everything just so. An honest drug dealer. Imagine that. The big pun lookalike came from behind the bar table and stood in front of Saint. Shiny metal on the side of his hip glistened as if it were saying, "Try anything slick and I'll blow your half Korean, half Egyptian head clean the fuck off." Saint handed him $100, and on a dime, the dealer spun around and placed the bag in Bomb's hand before returning to his seat and reaching for a large blue and white Big Gulp. He sucked on the straw with due diligence, his full light pink lips a vacuum, taking no high fructose corn syrup prisoners as he glared at the television. The man who'd opened the door for them reappeared to show them the way out. It was as if the entire thing was a carefully fine-tuned, drug-induced orchestra. It's amazing how organized illegal activities could be.